Hey, I found a cool place to go. We can run or we can take it slow. Won't you come with me? Completely off topic. Mama said I never make it big. Well, Mama, I don't really feel that way. Won't you come with me? Completely off topic. Oh, ain't it nice to be completely off topic?
Hello and welcome to Completely Off Topic with Susan and
Meg,
where we talk to Calgary-based female artists about their body of work. Today we have with us a very funny lady, Victoria Banner, who is a comedian, a stand-up comic, and a producer of amazing comic shows in Calgary. And I wanted to know, are you born and raised Calgarian?
I was born in Edmonton, but raised in
Ew.
Calgary. No, boo, boo. We just
Gross.
did good at hockey last night, and I did that myself.
Good for
actually.
you.
Yeah, I called up Edmonton. I was like, hey, it's me, your homegirl. I was born here, but raised in Calgary. Do you think that we can win hockey?
Yes.
And they said yes.
and was that for the Stanley Cup, or was that still there's still more games?
I
I've
don't
not been
know.
checking.
I
They're in
heard
the finals.
screaming. I was at a
Yes.
comedy gig last night,
Yeah.
and then it got interrupted because there was a sports bar next door that was doing way
Right.
more
Oh,
popular
of
than
course,
the comedy
yes.
gig, and I
Right
did
now,
hear
for
us
sure.
screaming during my set.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I
that's great.
assume the hockey did good.
Good hockey.
But I was on the other side of the bar
Yes.
that was being violently underattended with
yes.
people
Violently.
not watching comedy.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the final. It's
Okay.
the final right now between the Panthers and
Okay.
the Edmonton Oilers. And
So
it
it's
is a
the
replay
best
from
of
last year.
7 series.
Yes, and last year they went to 7 games and Edmonton lost in the 7th
And
game.
it's the same two
Same two.
crews.
Yes, which will not be even close to what's happening when this airs.
Right, of course. It'll be a different time.
And we'll be like watching
And
this
we'll
going, we know what
know
happened.
the outcome by then. Oh,
Yes.
that's kind of cool.
I find it interesting,
Mm-hmm.
like how Calgarians will turncoat to Edmonton. Like last year, there were Edmonton Oiler jerseys everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And I'm Calgarian. Like I am like,
Mm-hmm.
no,
Oh, there you
I
go.
will not cheer for Edmonton. Even if I'm kind of like in my head,
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of like, good for you guys. But I'm like, I will go and I will cheer for the Panthers in a bar.
Yeah.
I will not cheer for Edmonton. And my kids are the same.
Yeah.
And when the Panthers won, we screamed. We were like watching it. We don't have any sports channels. And so we were watching the updates on TSN that just like updates the play-by-play, like with words, which is weird. And so we're watching that and then we're like, Panthers score, they win. We're like, yeah! And like, I'm like, wow, we're just terrible people. Like our hatred for this city that we're supposed to be against. Saying that, when I go to Edmonton, I love everybody. It's such
Yeah.
a great city.
It
They
is.
have one of my favorite restaurants there, the Moth. Have you been to the Moth?
Yeah, it's like that sandwich place, eh?
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like vegan.
Yeah.
And there's like they have this coconut laxi. I think that's how you say it. Laxi. Anyhow, it's amazing. I love it.
I don't like Edmonton. I'm not even joking. I have
Yeah.
a couple problems with Edmonton. Number one, it looks like they forgot to complete the city. It
Yeah.
just, when you're driving around, you're like, did they finish Edmonton?
Yeah.
And then, like, you go to Calgary, you're like, okay, they finished Calgary, and then they didn't finish Edmonton. And then my other problem with Edmonton is there's a weird thing that when you're driving into Edmonton, every FM radio station plays way too much Genesis.
Oh.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I know that's a weird thing to say, but you will always hear Phil Collins in Genesis on like every one of their classic rock stations, every one of their Jack FM stations. I have caught it on the pop stations, and I think that it's because of the request line. So maybe there was like one DJ in Edmonton's history who was listening to too much Genesis, and now every time they get requests on there, the whole city's just requesting Genesis.
I
And
never
it's
like to hear Genesis ever
Yeah,
again.
the whole city overestimates the cultural value of Genesis.
Yeah.
And
I mean, is there even
it's-
any tie to Edmonton? Like nobody's from
No,
Edmonton.
No,
in
it's just
Genesis.
propaganda. It's just like, it's the same way. Like, it's basically like Phil Collins is the Kim Jong-un of Edmonton.
Yeah.
Wow. Does he
It's-
know this?
Does he know?
I don't know.
always feel like when I go to Edmonton, it just feels like an extension of Calgary. You know, like you travel to other places in the world and those cities feel different.
Yeah.
Not Edmonton. I feel like it's, and I know it's just because it's Alberta, but it just
Feels smaller.
feels the
feels more
same.
like a town
Yeah,
than Calgary does to me.
yeah.
Like it feels smaller.
I just feel like it's just North Calgary. Or Calgary is South Edmonton.
when I drive downtown, there's that road that you take all the way downtown. I think it's just like Calgary Trail or something. I don't know what it's called.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know. But it's like, it reminds me of McLeod Trail. It's like, this was built in the 80s,
Yes.
and they thought that these signs and this style of build and mismatched buildings everywhere was cool, and was the way we should plan a whole city.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean when I said it looks like they forgot to. It looks like they forgot to do Edmonton.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
who wants
I
to
agree.
do Edmonton? I mean, it's like the ugly older brother.
Edna Does Edmonton.
Edna, we need to make that film.
Yeah.
Edna Does
Edmonton
Edmonton.
does Edmonton.
I wonder if anything will happen.
Yeah.
I do like that. As someone discovering themselves in Edmonton.
Yes.
I do like that a lot.
She's like 85.
Yeah. Finally, just like getting back into like how I learned my womanhood in Edmonton.
Yes.
How I got in touch with myself.
As with
Spiritual
others.
experience in
Yes.
Edmonton.
Wow.
Yes.
Well,
Absolutely.
there is a good comedy scene up there.
Yeah.
Let's
Oh yeah.
go.
They have a lovely theater
their
scene.
comedy scene. I will actually better than ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not very nice to say to everyone in Calgary, but maybe everyone in Calgary's got to shape up.
Yeah.
Edmonton's doing better.
Yeah, come to comedy. I hear all the time people are like, oh, there was this great comedy thing. And it turns out that, like, Wanda Sykes came. And I'm like, do you know there's comedy every single night?
Yeah.
All over Calgary? Like, there's a lot going on.
Here's something that's missing. Do you remember way back in the olden days when there would be like a paper, not the newspaper, but like a side paper
There is
that
one,
would just
but nobody
have,
gets
no
it.
one looks at it
Yeah.
anymore, but it would just have like all the gigs, all the comedy, all the theater shows, all the concerts, everything. And you would be like, what are we going to do tonight? You would
Fast
just open
forward.
up, fast forward. You would open up the thing and be like, oh, this is in our neighborhood. This is what we want to do. And we don't have that anymore.
It's
and
kind
there's
of
no
scene.
like,
Yeah, they do.
it
And I
is the
name
scene.
checked you in the scene this month, actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, open it, like grab a copy of the scene, open it up, you're going to see Firecracker Department. And
Oh.
yeah, literally name
Yes.
checked in there. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're harder to find because
Yeah.
obviously print is hard to do.
You
like
just
we've
don't hang
done
out in every dive bar.
Yeah.
They're in every dive bar.
They are, but they're not all over. Anyway,
And, like,
all that to
community
say,
foods.
it's
Yeah.
the culture of that is different now.
Yes.
And so it's like,
It's online.
but
Or
there's also
Instagram.
not like one spot online, right? Like,
Well, there
where you
should,
just-
like, I think there's like YYC comedy
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram, but I don't know if does anybody actually post on there or?
No, it's anytime one of those gets traction, it's the same as a show. It's kind of flash in the pan. Like, it would be nice to have that resource, but everyone wants to control that resource. And
Yes.
so in the same way that every artist would be like, wouldn't it be great if we did this? But no one ever does this because
Yeah.
you're kind of working together, but also
Competing somehow.
Competing, yeah. Everyone's like in a rivalry, like a Calgary-Edmonton rivalry with each other. So it's very difficult to have something that is viable enough to be beneficial for all the parts in that way.
absolutely.
So
So I feel like there's something lost in that. I mean, and don't get me wrong, the scene, like stay, we love you, the scene. But it's hard when we're not going to that paper.
And if you're in the suburbs, I don't know if it's in the suburbs.
Yeah.
I know if I go on 17th, I'll find it in the front of with the avenue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, have they a couple magazines there?
they break up the neighborhoods. There's like little individual, like there's a small magazine thing that basically, because Calgary's so widespread, you can actually like buy by quadrant which one of the suburban kind of magazines you wanted to. I have a friend who's an editor for that one.
Oh, that's
and,
cool.
Yeah, I used to write for one of those
Yeah,
too. So
yeah.
Get sent out on those assignments.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so cool. Tell me more about that. What do you write? What are you writing?
Like I don't write for them now, but when I was like in 2014 in Vancouver, it was so fun because we'd all get together. It was like a very community run thing, kind of like this, but everyone takes it like super seriously. And you get press releases from like editors. And so I think like the coolest thing that I ever did was I had to cover a snowboard festival in Whistler.
Oh, fun.
So I got like free Whistler hotel room. I got
Yeah.
press passes. I got to like walk around
that's
and
fun.
do all the things and
Yeah.
talk to all the people.
Yeah.
And it was like literally like they gave like it's because it's all volunteer, these
Yeah.
little magazines. So
Yeah.
they gave me all of this stuff in exchange for one paragraph in one of those tiny magazines that you
Yes.
say no one can find.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's how press works.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
how great.
Yeah, like
I'm
a
glad
$500
that gig.
vacation for a paragraph.
I love that. I could write a paragraph.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could.
Make a
I've done it.
Make a
Yeah.
Firecracker Department magazine.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's fun.
That would be cool.
I don't want to be the editor on that though.
I
I
can
just
do
want to do. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
We have an editor.
Done.
Yeah.
You
Yes. Okay, and I will just write a paragraph and go to I'll
Yeah.
go to the London Media Festival. What's it called? I don't know. Anyhow, I'll go to
Oh yeah,
London.
yeah. Leverage like any opportunity possible, because the best thing about being a volunteer journalist is you never had to take an ethics and journalism course.
Oh,
So
I could do that.
Yeah, you
That's
could,
awesome.
Yeah, you could just invent magazines and then be
That's
like
the magazine's name.
And then, yeah,
Invent magazine.
invent
Yes.
magazine, and then the whole point of your magazine is to get as much free stuff as possible. And lots of people that are like PR agents do not care, because it is hard to get real press. And
Yes.
so PR agents just will give you anything to make it look like they did their job.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what podcasting is too, right? Like you're like,
Yeah.
a lot of people get into podcasting to get free stuff. We haven't done that yet.
No, we haven't
gotta
done that
figure
at all.
that out.
We haven't had any free
I want
stuff.
free stuff.
Yeah.
Hey everybody who has plants and picture frames.
Yeah.
If you have a plant and picture frame business, if you have a wicker business,
Yeah.
please sponsor.
If you have clothing, we're wearing
Yeah,
clothing.
if
we
you
have
have
clothing
clothing,
on.
if you make leather couches,
Yeah.
Oh my
please.
goodness.
There's no logos allowed in here.
Or
so.
a beautiful hot cup of joe.
Oh wow, yeah. Let's get sponsored by a bunch of
Sponsor.
artisanal potters.
Yes.
Come on,
yes.
artisanal potters. What are you doing out there?
Yeah. That feels like the poor stealing from the poor.
Which is still fair.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
fair game.
Artisanal potters, like, we're into it. We'll plug you all day long, but also, like, we're not expecting it to be $1 million deal.
An economy based entirely on pottery and media.
Yes.
This is gonna work.
Yeah, we got this.
Yeah.
The Phillips and couches are made of
Sprinkle,
pottery.
yeah, plant clippings. They like add that in, it crashes the whole economy. Plant clippings, they're free. They're free. What's going on?
Okay, we're gonna get some sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
People want to be part of this. I can feel it.
I wanted to be part of this.
Yay! I'm glad you are. How fun.
How did you find your way into comedy?
How did I find my way into walking
I
into
feel like comedy just, like, forces itself
Well,
upon us.
How
How
did
did that happen to
Nobody
you?
chooses. I don't think people choose and say,
Yeah.
I want to go up and bomb, or I want to go up and learn how to do that. It's a hard thing to learn how to do.
Yeah. So how did you start out?
Well, I definitely knew I wanted to be a comedian long before I became a comedian. I think that was like a childhood dream of mine
Yeah.
ever since I was like 13 on a marching band tour bus. And I had a crush on a boy, and we were listening to like Dane Cook CDs on
Yes.
a Discman.
Okay.
And then he was like, wow, Dane Cook is the funniest comedian in the world. And then I was like, I'm going to be a comedian when I grow up. And then he dated and married someone from junior high.
Yeah.
And then I got my heart broken, but I still kept my promise. Yeah, exactly. So I still kept my promise. And so I
Nice.
became a stand-up comedian.
Amazing.
It is a promise to my 13-year-old self who had a dummy crush on
Yes.
Do you check
on a
in?
Dane Cook fan?
Do you check in and go, am I still doing that because of that?
Yeah.
Because of that 13-year-old? And is it something I still want? Do you ever check in and do that?
Oh yeah, I've been haunted by my thoughts before, Susan. I've been deeply haunted by my
Oh
thoughts.
my God!
So-
What? You're like the first.
yeah. No, that's a constant one in that kind of way, and I've like redone my relationship with comedy before, to answer with what you're saying, because when I first started comedy, you have to hustle and you have to do every single gig and you have to be so nice to everybody, and you don't want to be nice to everybody because some people are not worth being nice to, but you still have to, and everyone goes, don't burn bridges, and so now it's like 12 years in and I've burnt a lot of bridges. I feel great. I get on stage when I need to, and I don't lose sleep over stages that I haven't got on, except for every time I'm rejected from a festival. I lose sleep, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, festivals feel so validating.
yeah, they're so validating.
Yeah,
So.
feels like I made it. I have a friend who's a musician, and she can't get into the Calgary Folk Fest. She can get into every other folk fest. She's beautiful, amazing, is from Calgary, can't get into this festival. And she's like, what is up with that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna let her talk to me, and then I'll just let her know that I've been haunted by Sled Island in the same way, and we'll have a
You haven't
support
been on
group.
Sled Island?
No,
Come on.
I burnt bridges.
Oh. I applied my first year as a like doing stand up. I'm like, oh, I should apply for this. And I applied and I didn't get it. I'm like, what's up with that? I'm like, oh yeah, I've not done this. Like, they don't know who I am. I haven't done the work. Like,
Yeah.
of course I'm not getting it.
I burnt bridges, and I also produced the comedy for their rival festival that was like one for one trying to take their corner in the market. So both of those reasons outside of my talent as a comedian might factor into why it's my white whale.
Business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. That's so tricky too though, right? It's like you can't just be funny, or you can't just be an actor or a writer or whatever it is you're doing. You also have to be good at business.
Yeah.
Like you have to figure that out, and you have to get paid. Like that's hard.
Yeah.
I think it can be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
That's because you're like, oh, like, why were you doing magazine writing? Because I wanted to be a comedian. Why do I know how to edit a magazine? Because I wanted to be a comedian. Why do I do Photoshop posters? Because I wanted to be a comedian. Why did I learn basic like musical instruments? Because I wanted to be a comedian. Like there's so many auxiliary skills that I have taken on, and when I talk to people, they go like, oh, like, you know everything. And it's like, because comedy is so competitive and it's so limited for gigs, that if you can get an angle in on anything else, if you can get a connection on anything else, and then just kind of like leverage comedy into it, it becomes like a driving factor in my life for sure. And I get a lot of auxiliary value out of it. So like, I'm not like a complete deranged narcissist where I'm trying to put comedy in every single situation, but I am always open-minded to every situation to test the viability for like how comedy would go into it.
Right.
And by being open-minded to all these situations, I've just started picking up like opportunities and skills and ideas and stuff that are kind of outside. And so probably you have had a similar career, acting and all that kind of stuff. Like, this is very professional. I've got a microphone on my boobs right now.
Yeah, you do.
And not
You made
everybody,
it.
yeah, exactly. Not everybody starting out in their acting journey's got a microphone on there. Like, knows how to buy a microphone and set it up and say like, hey, don't wear patterns on your podcast. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so
we're both wearing patterns.
Yes, we are.
in the pursuit of being, in a pursuit of trying to be the star, you do learn those extra things, and they provide a lot of value and safety to your life in times when you're not fully doing the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm always trying, because I'm doing the same thing in theater. Like I learned QuickBooks, and I can update a website and like all this, all the auxiliary skills. And I'm always like the new kids, these young people that they have now. And I'm like, do this other weird admin stuff. You don't, like, I also sold jeans at the Gap, like whatever your Joe job is, do something that you dig. But like, you can also learn the industry really well by adopting these other skills and attributes. Like and then it's like a sneaky way to, once you know and understand the industry, it's easier to find and create opportunities for yourself, right?
Absolutely.
But it's really hard to do, because when we go to school for performance or that kind of stuff, there's no talk of what the actual industry is. It's about the craft and how to be a presenter and that kind of stuff. But
And you're like at the end of it, like
Yeah.
at the end of acting school, you're like, I could be a lead in a feature film. Nobody wants you to be a lead in a feature film. They don't know who you are or what you've done or whatever. Like, you'd have to get your acting teacher or somebody in the school would have to go, I have a feature and I want you to, but that's it, that's your network, that's it. So you have to build that whole thing out.
yeah,
But I do find by doing all of these things, it makes me better at my job that I want to do, right? Like when you go and you watch a whole bunch of people or you try comedy out in different situations, it informs your comedy. It informs how you can, well, you're so connected too. Like, I don't know if I told you this, Meg, but when I started stand-up, back in the day, 3 years ago.
That's longer than average. People pile or go away after 2 years. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't remember people's names for the first year of them doing comedy.
So that's funny because I think second year, I did a set. So anyhow, go back to the beginning. So when I started, I did a set at Yuck Yucks, and then I met Gabby Rose there, who's on season 1 of Completely Off Topic, and she was like, "Go to Laugh Loft. What you did up there, go to Laugh Loft. That's your spot." And so I reached out to Victoria, and then you gave me a spot, and you tried me out, and then I went up and I did my thing, and then you're like, "Yeah, remember you saying this to me?" And before you were very like, "Yeah, whatever, go up there," and I remember you even introduced me like, "I've never seen her before. I don't know what she's like. She could totally bomb. She could suck. It's not on me. Welcome to the stage." And I was like, but then afterwards, you're like, "Hey, if you keep coming back here, you're gonna make money faster than anywhere else because we push our people forward." And I was like, "I'm never getting up to 15 minutes. Like, I don't know what you're talking about." But then you called me to do a corporate gig. And you called me, you know what I mean? Like, you reached out to me because you're like, "Oh, Susan's a mom, this could fit." And then I did the Mother's Day gig at the distillery.
Yeah.
And then you asked me to do the Laugh Loft the next day, which was Mother's Day 2024, where my kids didn't celebrate me at all. And so I was like, do you know what? I'm going to go do a set, and then I'm going to have some fun.
Yeah.
And you had me headline. And that was the last time I did comedy. It was a great set. I had so much fun.
You did good at that one.
Oh,
I remember that one, yeah.
It was fun. I was just like, but then I was like, okay, I should start doing mom comedy and less dating comedy. Because I was like, I'm not dating anybody, and I'm kind of over it. But the mom comedy, I was like, every day there's something I could talk about. And so I was like, oh, I should start doing that. Literally didn't do stand-up until I just did Laugh Loft again the week after Mother's Day.
Oh, wow.
And I did it with Corey Mack and Lori Gibbs and a lady out of Vancouver.
Yeah.
And I went up and I'm like, it was right after Carla Marks did the entry, like the opening and hosting, and she was talking about lesbian sex. And as she's like talking about it, and then I go up and I'm like, how are we all feeling after that? And I said, I really wish I could be a lesbian. I so badly. And then I did some speed dating, but I was like, I haven't been on stage for a year for doing stand-up. Like, I've done a ton of other things.
I didn't realize you were doing stand-up. Like, I feel like I just saw you, and in my mind, I feel like you have been hustling nonstop.
I
if
have
that
been,
makes any sense.
but not with stand-up.
That's so funny. In my mind, you've been out every week at Mike's.
And people are like, I've gotten some messages saying like, hey, can you do half an hour? I'm like, I could probably put together half an hour. I haven't done stand-up for a year. And I'm like, I should really get out. And then I saw Jeremy, or Furlong, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah.
I saw him at a show that I was going to meet. I met North Darling there to watch something and hang out with him for a night. And he's like, yeah, come. On Mondays you can go here, Tuesday. He went through the whole list of everything.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I know, but I just actually have to go. And it's like the week when I don't have my kids, I just need to actually just go. And I think that became hard for me for some reason.
Oh,
because the longer I waited, the more I'm like, I've got nothing to say.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've obviously I can't stop talking right now. I obviously have something to say.
I'm going through that too, the getting back into it.
Yeah.
And definitely it's like a fitness habit, it's like a gym habit.
Yes.
The more you go, the funnier you are, the more you go, the funnier you are, but then if you fall back, it does actually stop to do that. So that's why there's that's part of the hyper competitiveness is you do get rusty after a little while, and so that's why everyone freaks out when they got a showcase, because it's you only get the feedback in real time, and you only get that like natural kind of stuff in real time, and so it's kind of an addiction, but not like it's a fun art addiction. It blends art and addiction in the way of it's being addicted to not being bad at comedy. Is
yes,
a thing.
I think that's a healthy channel.
addiction.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. So
Meg did stand up as well.
oh, did you?
I did. I've done one stand-up set, and it was super fun. But yeah, I've had people encourage me to do stand-up because
Come do another stand-up
I
set.
have a silly-
Laugh.
Yes.
I'll give you a terrible intro because I haven't seen you do stand-up. And then if you do good, I'll eat humble pie.
I will bring the humble pie. I will supply it.
Amazing.
Yeah. Sonia DeLeo, she did stand up at Laugh
Yes.
Loft.
Yeah, everyone's been loving Sonia.
Yes.
Yeah, Sonia's
Well,
great.
yeah. So Sonia wrote a play for my theater company called 2 Moons, A Folk Lullaby, about her experiences with reproductive rights. And so one of the segments, she wanted it to be stand-up. And so we were like, well, it's only one way to get that skill. So off she went, which was amazing. Like, what a cool thing, and new like channel for her to tell stories, and because she's such an incredible musician, and so it was cool. We just closed that show in the spring, and it was well received. Everybody loved it.
It was so good. It was so good. I saw her, she had me come with a couple of friends of hers to see like the rough run of it.
Yes, yeah.
And I said, I'm like, if you want to do the stand-up bit, go to Laugh Loft, because I know you have such a warm room with like, it's what is it? It's femme non-binary, it's queer positive, it's femme
Yeah,
positive.
yeah. We're like, we like to elevate queer femme and racialized comedians because those are the ones that are kind of like held back and only get a spot to do like, basically like if you're, especially in Calgary, if you're queer femme or racialized, you get one chance to do good. And if you do not do good that one time, then you are never booked again. And then you just have to basically burn through maybe the 8 stages that are going and hope that that one time clicks with you. So it's funny because you perceive me being like, I don't know if to do, like, I do not care if you do good or bad on my stage. That's very important. I just care that you're committed to growing on my stage, and I care that you're committed to not being hateful on my stage. And those are my only 2 things that I care about, and it can turn into a huge gray area, which is why I'm kind of closed off, because somebody will be hateful on my stage and then they'll just do it 2 times in a row, and it's like, well, you're not growing. And you're just coming back and trying the same formula and doing it again. And I can watch, like, people, it's so funny. They just don't think I have eyes. They're like, oh, do you think that I didn't see what happened?
Yeah.
And then they all think that they can just internet debate me, like, based off of those things. And it's like, no, I'm looking at 3 things. I'm looking at your talent. I'm looking at your potential. I'm looking at your commitment to growth. And so you can't tell me what I think and what I see, and so I'm very open-minded, and that creates a really it seems hypocritical to people, but I'm very open about that, if that makes any sense, because people will be like, well, you let this person on stage and they suck all the time, and I was like, yeah, but they got a good heart.
Yeah, they're not trying to bring people down.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's so funny because it's like, if you're fighting me about my own show, like if you're fighting me as a producer, you don't have a good heart.
No.
That's then done. Like,
like it's proving itself.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And that's not very smart.
Yes.
You don't go to a producer and tell them how to produce or what's wrong with them.
Yes.
Like, no. And I honestly, if that's not the impression I meant to give. It's
Oh,
like,
no,
I
it's-
think you're very welcoming and open, and you definitely give a space for people all the time. And I love your show. It's my favorite stage because I always feel like, even the audience, I feel like I can be myself, I can mess up, I can try things, and it's like I can feel the love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can see that I'm trying and I have good intentions, or I want to make them laugh, and they give it back.
Yeah, you can't create from a place of like anxiety. You
No.
can't take a risk and learn what you're supposed to do, because you've just described that you thought you were supposed to do dating material and then you felt like you had a better time doing mom material. But if at some point you feel like, oh, I don't know if I'm supposed to do dating material again, you need to be able to take that risk to basically decide whether you want to do dating material or not, which means that you need to have one set to test and then one set to confirm. And so that's kind of my trying to give people that kind of barometer buffer thing. So basically, like, you should feel safe to take a risk. All white men in comedy are safe to take risks. They get club weekends. They I've played club weekends before. I don't play very many because they're very capitalized by especially like older people, and like it's just because comedy was such a boom in the 90s that they've been grandfathered into these gigs, and they see it as a job, and so there's no pressure for these men who have been doing comedy since the 90s and know that they're going to get Thursday to Sunday, 2 shows on Friday, 2 shows on Saturday. That's like 7 shows. They don't care if one of those shows is bad for an hour.
Yeah.
And so who's like queer femme racialized gets that opportunity.
Yeah.
And so that's what Carl and I wanted to do. We wanted to give those people that opportunity, and that's what we did with Laugh Loft.
Yeah.
And then it turned out that was a really nice formula, so the shows got popular. So as a reward to our audience, we will sometimes grab like a super pro as a treat and be like, and now here's what it looks like when we got like a high level pro. And then we mix them in with the people that are experimenting and stuff like that, so that the audience has a good time, the performers have a good time, and just try and foster that vibe.
Yeah. But I think that that's such an incredible, like, service to our community to be offering these opportunities for people, because if we don't get to practice and we don't get to take risks, then it just all stops. Like, and it's the same in theater, where it's like the same actors can get gig over gig over gig, which is great, but then that means that they're getting all this practice that someone else isn't getting consistently, you know? And so, and it's really hard to up your game when you don't get to play. you know? Like, I think that's very exciting. And I'm just like, how can I help you? Like, because I run a feminist theater company. So I'm like, how can we combine forces?
Oh, exactly.
Take over the world.
And it's funny because this ties into your local magazine things. That's why people do volunteer local magazine journalism, because they're like, how can I do this? And so everyone like has a skill that they want to do, and everyone has a skill that they, and so that's why where it comes together, where we're all rivals, but we're all working towards the same goal.
Yeah.
So everyone comes together, and so they can all give about 33%. You can't give 66%. And so people who think that someone is supposed to give them more than 50%, that's where you start to get resentful in the arts. But as long as you have an awareness that you're giving away 33% and other people should be giving 33% away to you in any opportunity that they can create, I think that's the formula for just when you know you found like a good artistic community in that kind of way. And it's intersectional is a word for social justice, but I think you can have intersectional for art. I don't know if I'm using that word correct or not, so I'm sorry, university people. But it does intersect across art forms. You've got your photography people will go in on that magazine. The magazine people will go in on the performance art people. The performance art people go in on like the producers and promoters. The producers and promoters take that energy to make their dream film projects and everything like that. So there is a huge intersection between live art, performing art, visual art, as to who is going to give what to support other people in their like top tier goal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like when you meet people that you work well with and you can help elevate each other's, projects that you're really passionate about, that's when the magic happens, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and then you can be like, oh, you need this? I can support. Like, Kyla is the one who's helping us with this. Does this constantly. Is like, jumps in and helps out with all these different things all the time. And you're like, those are the people you want to be surrounded by.
Oh, yeah.
And then she also has projects that you're like, what can I do to help you, right? Because that's the thing, right? When you, I don't know, this is back to corporate stuff, but it's Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. Such an old book and so many things in it that you like chuck that away. But there's so many things that are good. That is like, basically go into things with a service mind, right? You're going into it being like, how can I help you get what you want?
Yes.
And when you help other people get what you want, you get what you want. It's just a natural progression of what it is. So I feel like when we can do that, which is when I helped launch Firecracker Department in Calgary, which is a female and non-binary community of artists who are creating and doing stuff, that was the point. It's like, let's bring all these women and non-binary people together and let's support each other. And I would say, while I could be the leader, I'm not the leader anymore because I just couldn't do that anymore. But while I was, it was such a great energy of people who were like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. What are you doing? Like, let's promote it. Everybody, we're gonna go see the 10-minute play festival. Who wants to come? And it's just a community, right? Where we can help each other out.
Yeah, and I love that kind of stuff, and it's just it's so hard to remember to do that in your own schedule when you're busy.
Yeah.
Because you say, I can't do that because I'm busy, and then you're busy, like everyone's busy. I'm taking time off of my day job to do this. So one of the things that I've mindfully been doing this year to try to, when I see one of those good ideas, I've just been so into my Google Calendar to basically, like, I've color-coded things that I want to do for days when I have free time, when it comes to artistic opportunities, because the algorithm doesn't solve that anymore. We used to have the algorithm to be like Facebook events, and you get a little push notification to be like, hey, your play is happening at the time.
Yeah.
And we all kind of drifted away and realized, now we learned that the algorithm doesn't remind us about our friends' dreams anymore.
Yes.
Or advertising.
It's all just advertising. So you need to be really direct with your friends to be like, hey, this is my dream. This is the time it is.
Yeah.
And then basically don't make them promise to come, but just say put it in your calendar so that when people are literally having that like hour of boredom, or when two of their friends went out without them and they're mad and they're like, I need to go do something, that they're going to know that you needed a friend in that moment in that kind of way. So I like think it's good to like mindfully schedule if you're trying to make a big artistic thing, to just be open-minded and don't say like, you're tempted to say no because you're thinking in absolutes of black and white of like, I have to come or I can't come. just be
The
like,
energy it will take
yeah,
to do
the
it.
energy it will take to do it. Just be like, I'm going to write down that I'm aware that this is happening at that time.
Yeah.
And then kind of catch it at the time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Do you find it hard? This is something I find tricky, is because I'm in so many things, it's hard for me to invite my friends and family. Like I post on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, but I find it really hard to be like, this is important to me. Like I have a film in Oakdoaks Film Festival on Friday. None of the cast and crew are coming. Sonia's coming, who did the music for it, for the waxing scene.
Oh yeah, okay.
I wax with maple syrup all over my body, and Sonia DeLeo wrote the song for it. So she's coming, but it's like, I'm like, this is my first film in a film festival. It's in Alberta. It's a half an hour drive. And it's like, I feel like, well, I can ask you to do that, but I'm also asking you to watch, completely off topic, I'm also asking you to go to Roku and watch Got MILF. And I'm also asking, and I'm like, it's hard for me to comedy
Differentiate
cafe,
what is special.
firecracker department.
Yeah.
This is
If
every
they're just
Sunday.
like, so that's just Sonia. Sonia's special.
Well-
and so you end up being like, you're hustling your butt off and you end up being a set it and forget it. That's just what Sonia does.
And I feel like people who have jobs that aren't in the arts, they're like, oh, that's a fun little thing you're doing. I'm like, this is my work. Like, and they're like,
Yes.
how can you're doing so much. And I'm like, this is my work. Like, this is what I'm doing. But I also want you to come and watch it. Like, I want you to come and see it because I didn't make it for myself to do in a room by myself.
Yes. I definitely like invite all my friends who are like of the industry to come and see stuff. But of my friends who are not of the industry, I like inform them about it, but I don't expect them because there's people like who are like, oh yes, we love going to the theater. We went and saw A Christmas Carol 5 years ago. And that to them, it is that they're theater goers and, you know, like that perspective. So I appreciate that if my friends come to see me once every 4 years, they feel that they're deeply supportive. And I appreciate, like, if that's how they feel and that's what they can give, like, that's great, come out. But I get it, like, because I want to know about all your stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to know so that I can be there on those days that I can be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got like little tips for promoting, so that
Okay.
helps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
some
hear
tips for like, and especially like re-engaging your network in that kind of way. If you always use the same visual person or you do your own visuals and stuff like that, people start to get blind to that and they think it's all the same thing, all the same stuff. So way you can get somebody is you can engage a commissioned artist. So maybe an artist that you admire and you're next time you're out at a market, say, hey, do you have any commissions? And they go, oh yeah, we do. Commission a piece of art of yourself doing whatever you want your friends to do so that basically that visually engages your friends online to be like, oh, this seems important because, and it's like $200 going to a local artist. I think 300 is the going rate for commissions, but it's $300 to a local artist.
Yeah.
You get a custom piece of art for yourself that kind of documents it for yourself no matter what. And then your friends think that something really big and special and different that's kind of broken the mold comes on. So that's like one way that you can kind of re-engage your friends in that way. Another one for just kind of logistics is look at the neighborhood that your event is taking place in and throw in some extra things for people to do right before doors. Say, hey, I've got this show, but there's also a local brewery and they've got a cat craft beer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you should go have 2 pints with your boyfriend and like build the date for them.
Yes.
And then tack your event into the
Yes,
date
for
so
sure.
that it doesn't just seem like it's weird. Like when you just say, hey, come to my show. My first thought is that parking is going to be terrible.
Yeah.
I don't tell people that parking's going to be fine.
Yeah,
Tell
here's
people
where you
it's
park.
not in a shoebox.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and we've done videos where it's like, here's how to get here from the train station. Like, hop off here. Or here's how to get here. This is the weird door you come in because we're in this weird basement or what. You know, sometimes we're in found spaces or whatever. We like show the video, get them there. Because it's like, yeah, it can seem intimidating. And the
to
parking.
do something, so like almost like launch it with a meal, like
Yeah.
local restaurant, like you gotta try this burger before you come see the show. Dinner and a show.
Yes, yeah.
That kind of way is a good way to re-engage your friends and just they just need that like special kind of like, hey, this is important. And then if they say no to that one, but they give you that terrible like, maybe next time, have the backup event.
Right.
To have the future backup
Yeah.
event ready to go in the chamber so that when they say no to that one, be like, you have a date and then you guilt them into putting that date in your calendar. It's, especially if you have multiple things going.
Yeah.
So they'll always be like, oh, I can't possibly.
Yeah.
And then at that moment is when they go, like, it almost like relaxes them a bit, because it might be too close at the week of,
Yeah.
but then everyone imagines they have more time and are better. Everyone imagines they're better people in the future.
Yes.
So everyone knows that they would be a much better friend 6 months from now.
Yeah,
And
best friend.
yeah, I could be a fantastic friend.
The friend.
Yeah. So
Amazing. Okay, so what is like your dream scenario for what is like the ultimate thing for you to do as a comedian?
ooh, that's a good question. I kind of did it already. I've got a couple of albums out. I got an album in. I like music festivals a lot. Is my big dream. I love performing comedy at just any gathering where it's kind of people that are like a little more cool, a little more rock and roll, that kind of enjoy my lifestyle. So I love playing comedy clubs and everything, but sometimes they'll put a little comedy stage at a music festival and everyone's just a little high and everyone's just a little summer of love, and talking to those crowds are my ultimate favorite.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of my dream gig. I've done it before, but if I could just make a career off of doing that the way that a band does, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You should just find
Those
a band
tours.
that you can open for.
Oh,
That's
man.
what they used to do. They
You-
used to have a comedian open for bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do not want to know my sexual history with guitar players.
I have another podcast starting.
Victoria Manor's sexual history with guitar players.
And I just bring on different guitar players. Oh, well, this has
That's
been
amazing.
an absolute pleasure. Thank
Yes,
you so much for
thank you
doing
so
this.
much
Susan
for
and Meg,
joining
it was
us.
a great
Yeah.
chat. You guys are all you're cool entrepreneurs. And so I had a fantastic time on the couch.
Great. I'm so glad.
Thank you for being on the couch.
Yes.
In a very safe and not too vulnerable way. Do you mind if we hug you?
I will take a hug. How do we do it on
a
sideways?
sandwich.
That's wonderful.